This episode is written for Christians who are suffering from some sort of depression or a lack of self-worth or wholeness. Basically, in simple terms, you don't see yourself as much, you don't rate yourself so highly, you don't think there's anything special to you. And so this episode is designed to give you 10 reasons why I think you're special, okay? And I'll be going strictly through the biblical perspective. Hello, my name is Victor Akan, and I would like to welcome you to yet again another episode of my Breath of Hope podcast. And today, like I said earlier, 10 reasons why you're special if you struggle with self-acceptance, self-worth, and all of those self-things. And what are some of the reasons why you're special? I'll talk about 2. You have to wait till next week before you get the other ones. Number 1 reason, you are not an afterthought. Now, what does that mean? When you go to Jeremiah 1:5, this is God saying, I formed you in your mother's womb. I knew you, I created you, and I set you apart. And this is God basically saying to Jeremiah in that use case that before he even formed him in his mother's womb, he made him for a purpose. He called him and set him apart for a reason. So he knew him. So there was an intentionality towards his being here. He was brought for a purpose. And that in a way changes the whole dynamics. Because when you realize that God knew you, so there are 8 billion people in the world, but God knows you. So he knows you, like he knows you for you, right? He knew you even before he created you. He was intentional about your being here. He had a purpose for you. And that should change everything for you, because when you think about Beyonce calling you, if you're a woman, if you're a man and you're a football fan, think about if you're a Messi fan, Messi calls you, a Ronaldo fan, Ronaldo calls you. I'm a Ronaldo fan. I know if Ronaldo calls me now and says, Victor, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. Tries to chat with me, I'll be really excited. God knows you. That is some level of privilege, right, that he has given. When you think about the vastness of the universe, when you think about, sometimes when I try to imagine God's greatness, I try to do it from a perspective of the vastness of the universe and how he's intentional towards me. It makes me feel like I matter a lot. And so one reason to know that you matter is that God knows you by name. God has called you for a purpose, and God is intentional about leading you, about being with you. So as you go through, that job, being stressed, as you go through that challenge, one challenge or the other, being stressed, suffering from self-doubt, asking yourself, can I do it? Asking yourself, am I special? Asking yourself, am I worth it? Understand that God knows you, so you're pretty much important. All right. Second point, he died for you. John 3:16, a verse we all know, but we don't emphasize on enough. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him would not perish, but have everlasting life. When you understand the person of Jesus Christ, you would understand how damn special you are. Because I would always say this, the value of a thing is seen in what is given up for it. So for instance, let's bring the context home. You have a girlfriend if you're a man, your partner. The value of your partner to you is seen in the level of sacrifices you're able to make for your partner. And at the end of the day, if your partner wanted you to do something, thinking of an example, but if your partner wanted you to do something and you basically refused to do it because you felt like it was too much for you to do. Now, I'm trying to bring in a context. So let's say that you make like $1 million and your partner wanted like, hair of like 100k. Let's say your lady wanted hair of like 100k. And you felt like this one is too much for it. You basically don't think that she's worth the sacrifice, except if you have a valid reason for thinking so. But your excuse is that it's too much for her, things like that. You basically don't think that she's worth it. What you can sacrifice for a thing determines your value for that thing. That's just a simple rule. And so when you understand the person of Jesus Christ, you would understand how valuable you are to God. When we go through scriptures, you would see that Jesus Christ is God in flesh. Okay? He's God in flesh. And what that means is that he is the God that has been made flesh. At the end of the day, you would come to understand that God could have had diverse ways of forgiving us our sins. Different ways. He chose the way that brought him pain. There were a lot easier ways. Maybe there were, I don't know, but maybe there were a lot easier ways. But he chose the hard way for you. I don't know why, but he chose the hard way. And in doing so, he proved that you were worth dying for. Understanding the divinity of Christ, understanding his lordship, understanding his authority, understanding his power, understanding his person, I think you're pretty much special for God to have died for you. And so the next time you go about doubting how special you are, understand that Christ died for me. Christ died for me. So when you're in the other relationship and they've given you breakfast and you don't feel like you have a lot of worth, tell yourself, Christ died for me. Right? And this goes whether you're a practicing believer or not. Christ died for you because he died for everyone. The difference is just those who have accepted him and those who have not. So Christ died for you. Have that at the back of your mind always. And so, if again the value of a thing is seen in what is given up for it, it means that your value can now be seen because Christ died for you. So that means you now have value based on the sacrifice that was given up for you, which is the life of Christ. You have value. Never forget that. I would be stopping here. Next week, I'll be talking about 4 reasons why you matter. And next week, after next week, we'll be looking at the last 4 reasons. Why not just stay tuned with me? But I hope these 2 things we've discussed helps you a lot. Stay tuned for more. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.